Born in the pines where the axes sing loud. Generations deep, we're a proud, tough crowd. Hands on the Bible, the timber, the steel. Faith in the Lord, the life that we feel. God, guns, and sawdust, it's in our veins. Through the sweat and the toil, through the joy and the pain. We stand on the roots of the trees we felled. Faith in the Maker, stories to tell.
Hey y'all, welcome back to God, Guns, and Sawdust. We've got another episode here with my good friend, Thomas Steinwald. Man, he grew up in California, moved out here. He used to be a logger in California. Man, we're going to talk all about this right after we start with an opening prayer. Our Almighty God in heaven, we come to you at this time, thanking you so much for this time that we get to come together and talk about your natural resources, Father, and how much they are a help to us. Father, we are so thankful for Jesus who died on the cross for our sins, that we may have hope of that eternal life one day. Father, we hope that hope and pray you will help us to be a good shining light to our community, always spreading your word and talking about the great things you do for us. Father, we are so thankful. Thank you so much for the blessings. All these things we say in your son's name, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
All right. So, Thomas, tell us about yourself, man.
Well, I been working my entire life, obviously, and working in the woods my whole life. And I don't take anything for granted, just work, and got my first saw when I was 8. Just been learning and slowly learning, working side by side, good people working. We've done a lot of work together.
Done a lot of work together. That's right.
I enjoy it. I think, if you're not going to enjoy sliding down steep hillsides and taking your time, then you're not going to do this job. So, it
does take time.
Takes time, and you have to take nothing for granted, slow down and appreciate it, and enjoy it, and appreciate the resource. You certainly can come and get a check. Essentially, that's what we're all doing. But if you're going to be a logger, a real logger, and you're going to be a craftsman in the trade, you have to enjoy it. You have to embrace the elements. You have to embrace when it's tough. It's not, there's days that's easy, but the elements are going to be tough and the hillsides are going to be tough. So essentially, back to your question, like from an early age, you kind of get seasoned with it and go with it and appreciate it. So as you've done yourself.
Oh yeah, man. It's something you can't tame it, can you?
No, you can just turn your back to the cold wind, to the hot sun. You start out when it's cold in the wintertime, you start out on south faces, so you're warm.
That's right.
And in the summertime, you're going to start out on the north faces in the dark timber, so that you're cool. That's what you do. And you just learn to do it. I think when you do it for like survival, more or less, you just learn and you adapt to it.
Now, you've worked West Coast and you've worked East Coast, right?
Not all the way to the East Coast, just to Indiana.
In
in Illinois and Ohio and Kentucky and Michigan and everywhere I could drive to. I lived about 5 years of my life in a logging camp without going home.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And what state was that?
Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, Illinois, the whole state of Indiana, and then about half of Michigan and northern Kentucky and the east side of Illinois and west side of Ohio.
Wow.
So yeah, we didn't have much of a life there, if you would consider it that way. I thought it was a great life. I find a local, YMCA to lift weights and had my bow and arrow with me. And I'm a Catholic, so you can find one of them churches anywhere. That's essentially what it was. And Megan and I were at that time, we were either freshly married or about to be, and she'd come down and see me, and we all wash off in the creek. And the time she's like, well, where are you staying? We're there. We're there. Yeah. Go to the creek, wash, and go to town, find a church, and then get some real food that's cooked, and go back to work. That's what it was for a long, long time.
Now you've got a big business. You've got quite a few cutting machines, right? You got a cutting machine. You're the cutting machine. Thomas Steinwald is the cutting machine.
Yeah, I don't run it. I like to hand fall. I don't really even run them. We've got 2 of them, and I don't mess with them, to be honest.
So my first day with Thomas, I never will forget it. We were doing a job over in Morgantown, Indiana, and this stuff was big timber, man. 750-foot average. Dude, they were monsters. And of course, Thomas, you know, he's going to go do the hardest part. He's going to send you, he sent me back here to this poplar patch. Hey, Alan, man, you know, at last. But at first, he sent me on this real steep holler because he didn't know anything about me, like I didn't know anything about him. And he leaves me, takes off. So I got a skidder guy behind me. I did 30 trees that day on the hottest day of the year, wasn't it, Thomas?
It was hot,
dude, bad.
It was hot. It was nasty hot, yeah.
He comes up out of that bottom in a dozer. Hey, you about ready to go home? It's 3 o'clock. I'm topping a tree on top of the hill. Dude, I'm burnt. I'm done. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, Thomas, man, I'm ready to go home. He goes, cool, man. I'll see you out here. I'll go climb over the top, and all of my legs and my arms cramp up, dude. I'm like laying on the side. So anyway, we get up there. I was like, daggone, Thomas, how many did you cut? Dude, I've seen skidders flying by me. 73. Huh? Well, man, dude, I don't even know if you're going to hire me now or not, Thomas. I got 30. He goes, yeah, that's about average. He goes, that's awesome, man. You can do that every day. We're good. So we hit it off. Thomas, man, I'm telling you what, that little clicker thing he's got on right there, I think it's 100 all the time. I'm not playing. He said, how many did you say you did Saturday?
103.
103. What in the world, dude? That is a lumberjack, boys. I'm telling you. So one thing I noticed about Thomas when I met him and we were out in the woods, I was like, all right, dude, why are your pants so short? Remember that?
Yeah.
And I was like, Thomas,
yeah.
dude, the day we go out, Thomas, man, he always takes care of his workers. He goes, dude, you need a pair of boots, man. We got to go to Bass Pro Shop. We're working down there in Southern Indiana. He goes out, let's go come on, we're going to buy a pair of boots. So he goes out and buys me these boots, and he buys me he had a pair of pants, brand new ones, didn't you? We get over there, get back that morning, we're getting ready to get started. He takes these pairs of pants over on the stump. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? Oh, I got to make them right before we get started. What'd you chop off, 6 inches?
Yeah, roll them up tight, pull them over it, chop them off.
And I was like, why do you do that, Thomas? I've never seen anybody that. He goes, man, we used to do it in California. He goes, I tell you what, TKP, them long pants you wear around your legs, because them right there get caught up on stuff. And not only that, you're not getting no air, dude. I'm getting air, and you're not getting air. So you're going to be twice as tired as me. That's probably why I was flopping over them daggone treetops.
Well, I mean, tighter is lighter. And, you know, you don't want the truck antenna effect where all the weight's at the bottom.
Yep.
You know, where them pants are balled up. So I pick my pants up as high as I can, cut them off. Then you don't have any drag. It's less drag through the brush.
I understood it when he told me. I thought that was really one of the coolest things. That's the thing about logging. I know you'll agree with me too, Thomas. When we go to the woods, we both have open minds. Dude, whenever we work together, you would show me a cut, and I would say, hey, man, let me show you this cut. Oh, yeah, hey, yeah, I've seen that one. And one thing I did learn from you, and I was telling my dad about it today, there was these great big pig nut hickories we were cutting, and they were on a bluff. And I know, West Coast guys, Indiana don't have no bluffs. Ain't no, Indiana's flat, you flatlander. But there really is some really steep ravines.
They're steep.
Steep. And, man, I busted 2 of them. I would cut them with no notch all the way up to the back, and a lot of times they would pull out of the dirt and go. But these kept, like, busting up the back of them, and I was getting mad. I was like, Thomas, dude, what in the world? Huh? Come here, man, I'll show you. And it was the tongue and groove cut that you guys see me do. Thomas said, well, didn't your buddy Clint show you this cut, Alan? I was like, I must have missed this one. And he showed me that cut, and all these ones leaning out the bluff, we never busted another one.
There's another thing that I do a lot. I've got a video on my phone as well. When you cut it out, so cut it the exact way you did, right?
Yep.
So the harder leaning it is, make your trigger higher. So as you come back, you pass where your trigger is going to be, then you encapsulate your trigger, but maybe come up like 2 feet. It'll look crazy when you're doing it. I guarantee it. So essentially what you've done is encapsulated the cut. You get a real hard leaner, you get all the guts cut free. Then when you come up over the back, you know it's hard. So instead of just trying to chop it off and missing that white wood, busting it, come up higher. Run your saw into the cambium layer all the way around to your cut, all the way back around. We'll just keep doing that. Well, when you work it, it just eventually, like string cheese, where can it break? The bottom's been cut. You've encapsulated the cut at the top. The harder leaner it is, I just cut a 42-inch walnut for Tri-State, leaning hard over by Columbus, Indiana. It's super big tree, leaning super hard, flawless, just leaning hard. but I had to cut it so low to the ground. So when you get that tongue and groove, sometimes you don't have the wood to work with. So then you're like, well, what do you do if it's leaning hard? Well, I figured that one out on my own, even with a bunch of weight, or the leaves get it and they're sucking up a bunch of, moisture and gets heavy in the top. Well, once you get the inside cut out, just make your trigger higher. So the harder leaner it is, try it sometime. You'll see what I mean. Make the trigger higher, encapsulate that cut totally. So it's cut here. So then you're going to start your trigger back behind your bottom cut like that, all the way over, all the way back, and just go back and forth. And as that tree starts to go, the break can't go nowhere.
That's right. It'll
just right off. And if you've done like your cut, like that cradle cut or spur cut or whatever you're going to do. So if you cut it out, once you cut the front and you see her sit down, cool. Then you go in and double check that's good. Well, once it's set down, you got all that flat wood holding you up. Now you just take your time and you just keep looking, just take your time.
Makes sense.
And as it goes, it's
trigger is the best way to go, don't you think?
Trigger's the best. It's safe. It's the best. It really is.
Thomas was telling me a lot too. He goes, man, if I was going to tell somebody how to cut a tree, it would be with a long bar, right? Yeah. Explain how you would make your cut. And Thomas, diehard, he wears a hard hat. He does everything you can imagine. Thomas is, dude, I've never seen anybody. Don't you wear the one on the back, where you hold your axe, right?
Yeah, I got an axe box.
Yep,
yeah.
The sax box. Now, a lot of people think, man, that seems like it'd be real slow. Dude, Thomas has pulled it up out of the little sleeve on the back, caught it in his hand, wham! And dude, this thing is back in his sleeve I've never seen anything like it. So I'm definitely going to play some videos. He's going to send me some videos, and I'm going to play some for you here on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram. But I'm telling you what, so how would you recommend somebody to do it? Start your notch, right?
So if someone's green, and I've worked with lots of green people and I enjoy it and I like them as long as they'll listen, take their time. Once you go and you find out where the tree needs to go and where you want it to go. So make your notch and make your top cut first. I know you don't, but you've also been doing it 100 years. So the normal person make their top cut first, or your sight cut. Once you get it in and it's flat, then you start at the bottom. The reason you make your top cut first is because if you miss your top cut, you can catch it with the bottom cut without changing directions.
Yep.
If you're not super skilled like you are and you start your bottom cut, you miss your bottom cut, you catch it with your top cut, now the direction's changed.
Yep.
That's why you start your top cut first.
Mm-hmm.
So the way the saw handle is, it's 70 degrees and you've got that gun sights on it.
Yep.
So you just aim it. What I do is the first thing I tell them is look through the canopy, not at the butt. So you look through the canopy and where you see daylight, the same as a skidder operator when they lay the roads out. So you look through there. Okay, so you want this tree to fall through the daylight. That's perfect. Hold your saw, put that black line right to that daylight. Those are the only two things that matters. Cut down. When you get to the spur, that's cool. Take your saw, start them with a bit longer bar. Mm-hmm. Longer bars are heavier, so there's less chance for them to whip it around, less chance for it to buck up, less chance for them to try to use the nose. Long bar. Then they're not trying to do double cuts. They can just cut flat in on one side. Then they can just straight in, flip it over. A minor Humboldt cut just comes just from the bottom slightly, maybe 5 degrees. Get that tip to that cut, and then they're good. Then they can cut it. There's no mismatch.
Right.
Good. Now their hinge is good. Lots of times I tell them to go to the rivet so that it keeps their kickback at a minimal. So if you've got like an Oregon bar, the rivet that sits back, or the old style with the round rivets, those are so go from the rivet from their face cut, rev their saw to the rivet, come over a good distance, whatever, each tree's different, rev it up, get it in. This is the most important part. You see guys kick that left leg out if they're right-handed and their leg is right in the open.
Yes,
get that leg back. I'll go up there and stop a mid-cut. Like, buddy, if that thing kicks back,
it's going to get you.
It's going to cut the inside of your thigh. Get that leg shut and stand back. Rev it to the moon, because at that point, it's do or die. Don't just get in there and halfway. Rev it up, but get that leg back and just shove her in. Their bars are going to bend a little at first. You can work on that later. Get it shoved in, and they're going to have an awkward-looking stump, but that's okay, because the cut on that longer bar is going to go all the way through. So just work it back, get it out. They're going to be happy. This side, remember the rivet has came through?
Yep.
Go to this side and just take it and just cut down a little bit on that sapwood, just a little angle, not a big deal. Then take their saw and just cut down the white wood on each side of their trigger, tap a wedge. Even if it doesn't need it, it's good practice for them, because it slows their mind down. They got a bigger bar, they've slowed down. Now they cut the white wood off on each side. They're good down to solid wood. No bark push.
Right.
Tap their wedge on each side till it pings. Turn around and find 2 ways out, 3 ways out. If this tree's going to barber chair, if it's going to explode, even though the likelihood's probably 0 if you're starting out with someone. But let's look at it and talk about, cool, I want to run that way and that way. You're going to stay at the base of the tree until it's really dedicated.
Right.
But as it's dedicated, then we're going to get the heck out of here. We're going to go that way. We're going to go that way at an angle, because if you push something, when it whips, it's coming straight back.
Oh, sure.
Don't go back. Go sideways.
Sideways.
Don't worry about that saw. My legs are all tore up from bark dogs, and I learned when I was young, don't worry about that saw.
Right.
That saw gets thrown and I'm running. Every tree. Been running my whole life. I'm running. We're going to trip it. We're going to make sure it's dedicated. I don't have a saw around me. I got a clean trail. So back to it. We're ready. The wedges are in. The saw's safe. I do it every single time. You're going to cut off your saw. You're listening for skidders. Listen for another hand faller. That everything should be laid out in advance. But there's always that question. Is there a landowner walking through? Well, just shut it off and check. If you just take a couple seconds, you're going to be a lot happier in long run.
Yep.
Shut it off and listen. Check around. Cool. Now, really important. All this goes through your head. Call me crazy. I do it every single day in my life. I don't have any other professions. I'm a full-time logger. I do this every time, and it keeps me alive. Cut the vines now. Double check for vines. Have you been thrown by a vine?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay, me too.
Grab you by the head. Oh,
yes. Yeah. Had trees ripped over in the top.
Yep.
Now, if there's no vines down low, I highly recommend looking through the canopy. They're going to be tied at the top. They're going to pull stuff over behind you.
Kills loggers every day.
Check for vines. They're bad. So, cool. Now we've done all that. Just flat down on your trigger. As soon as that tree's dedicated, set your saw down, run out of one of those holes. And then when you're about 20 feet away or 25 feet away, you should be able to make that. By the time the tree gets dangerous, you should be there. All right, go get your saw. Find another tree to cut. I always do that. I do 5 trees with greenhorns. Here's why. Because you let that tree rest for a second, let your heart get down. Tons of people go right out on top of them.
No, they do.
You and I can go right out on them and maybe take a chance, but we're also listening for cracks and shadows, things coming through it. Just wait a second. Wait for that, brushed sassafras or something, or a dead ash or poplar or something. So all that goes into teaching these people, because it's a dangerous job.
Oh, man. And not only just cutting the tree down is dangerous, it's when you go out to top it, just like you said. I can't tell you how many times, Thomas, I've been out there, and the first thing I do as I'm walking down is I'm looking up, man.
All time, 100%. You shouldn't even look down.
Dude, never.
And when that tree's fallen, you've said it. I agreed. We've laughed in the woods. Forget that fiber.
Boom.
When that tree's fallen, I have to remind myself sometimes, big old beautiful white oak as big as this, as it's going, it's going to look like a Thanksgiving dinner table, and you're so proud of it. And I'm reminding myself, and you've said it, you say it a lot, but don't worry about that fiber.
Worry about
look
it.
up.
Yep.
Look up. Always
Pay
look
attention.
up. Always got to look up. So you're exactly right. So with greenhorns, we're teaching them all that stuff I said, plus the longer bar, getting them away. Okay, you can go and capture your prize in a moment, like shooting a big game animal. You're going to have to track it and find it. We'll go track your tree in a moment. Let's find you another tree. Do the same thing. Maybe about 5. At the end of 5, your saw should be low on gas. Let's refill your saw and get a drink of water. Calm your jets. You just cut 5 big trees.
Right.
Calm down. That's a third of a load of logs. That's a bunk. You should be proud of yourself. You're not pinched. They all fell down flawlessly. They all went in the hole. Calm down. So then you go back, trim up the butt, lemon top. Once they get pinched, because that's where they're going to get pinched, I'm going to go cut them out. We're going to talk about why. Then topping's a whole nother thing with the lean of the hill. And when you go to lean over the tree to cut that limb off, make sure there's not a spring pull that's going to come up and wipe their face off. So you're going to go over all that. But that's why you don't just get it down, run out and top it. So that's all part of when you tell somebody with a longer bar, let's get started. And I enjoy it as long as they'll listen. And we've cranked out a lot of superb timber fallers. They've went back to the West Coast. Some of them work here in Indiana. Some are over in Illinois. And it's not that we're great at anything. We just love what we do. And we spend 18 hours, 16, 14, 10 hours. I'm telling you, Jordan and I were out in the woods until like 1:30 the other night. We got done working, but then we had to go back with welders and fix some breakdowns and do it on 2 different crews. I mean, obviously, you're not pushed to do it. You're just doing it because you love it. So when you go and do all that, you're going to garner a bunch of information that you can share with people. And if they love it, then we can all work together,
Now, you've got a cutting machine too, right?
2 of them. Yeah, wheeled one and a track one. Yeah. Yep.
Them right there are back sabers, right?
I don't know.
You wouldn't know?
I don't know.
I love it. Now,
Yeah,
see, whenever I was young, Thomas knows this too. I used to call him the devil.
Yeah.
Man, well, I ain't running it. I'm
Yeah,
not
I
running the
ain't-
devil,
not
dude.
doing
I'm
it,
cutting
yeah.
trees. They're like, yeah, I'm with you. So
Yeah,
that's why
yeah.
we go cut trees, let somebody else run the devil.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they do. They work good. They're good on big. You're getting in a lot of tracts of timber now. And I know they kind of phased them. They kind of had a run with them, years ago when clear cuts were more prominent, especially in Indiana. There was some buddies of mine, that were talking of their grandfathers that had them and stuff, which is cool. And they had their place. And there's a lot more. It's a renewable resource. So if you cut it and there's a lot of timber that needs to be cut, well, there's a lot of timber that gets passed by. If you get the hand faller in and you have a 140, 160 foot average job, they're not going to make any money. And bless their soul for it, they can't.
Right.
Okay. So if you want to come back and you want to restore that stand of timber that had been high graded and picked over back in the day, and now it's just some scrub stuff. You and I did one a couple years ago, Northwest.
Yep.
Buncher job.
Sure.
Great for it.
Yep.
Tiny cut and haul, overcut. And it came out great.
It did.
Yeah, it came out. It came out great. A lot of people liked it. The closeout was good. And that was a bunch of deals. So that just goes, and they don't have their place in everything. You're not going to get a bunch of big numbered trees. There's guys that can, and I'm certainly, grateful for that as well. But their main thing is, 13, 18, 20 trees an acre is where they shine. You can go into 6 trees an acre and do great because we do.
Yep.
But if the hand cutter is going to be more efficient, bigger diameter, let him do those. And then they have their place for the smaller diameter jobs so that people are, and the landowner that wants to sell them that's been passed by, there's just not much money on more of a lower grade because they can be more economical and you can move into those jobs and get them done quicker, safer, and the probability of somebody purchasing a job like that's going to be quite a bit higher with a machine.
Sure, definitely.
You didn't want to cut 140 foot average on the foot, did you?
No.
Cut over, nasty, brushy,
Yep.
honeysuckle
Can't even get in there.
overhead.
Can't do nothing.
no. So
Briars all over you.
that's an example of it. Hot in the summer, can't see nothing, looking for treetops to find your tree. So that's a good place for them. But I have them because they make money, not because
Does yours have a dangle head on it or no?
No, mine's an intermittent head.
It is intermittent.
Yeah, they're the Quadco 2900.
Oh, yeah.
And then the wheeled machine has just a hot saw, but it's stationary as well. So
Sure.
you can direct fell with them. That's pretty good. And we still do a lot by hand. So if you're going to come on a hillside, we'll still have the operator. He'll get out and make front cuts. No wedge, just cut them on the front to where they only have to go on one side. And it's a lot safer, quicker. So that's on the bigger trees.
That's really neat.
Yeah. So
I know you got a plan when you go out there. You've always got a plan.
you got to have a plan. A lot of it's strategy,
It is.
staying in business and staying alive. You have to always be thinking. You have to overthink everything. They tell you don't overthink. Well, if you okay, today we didn't skid because it's going to rain Friday.
Mm-hmm.
We cut a lot.
Yep.
But you let it rain on Friday and you got all those leaves that are essentially shingles. Guaranteed sunny on Saturday. We'll have 130 trees to the boom.
There you go.
Just think about it. You make a lot more just thinking about it. You're going to skid decent today, but it was a little sloppy on top. It's going to be a little wet. And then there's a batch of rain coming in this evening and into Friday, a higher percentage. You can still work, which we
Right.
certainly did, but just step back and think, and you're going to get a lot further. You just have to think.
That's awesome. That's just like we're doing a job. I'm running that little skidder and green bean.
Yeah.
He's running a skidder too. So we got a 208 and a 240, and we're cutting average poplar. It's some of it's a little small, but
yeah.
I think it's 120 trees. We got 40 of them up to the boom, but we're like, well, man, we're not going to go back out there and disturb that other ground because, like you said, it's got shingles on it. So we'll wait till we'll go out there and cut a little bit, lay some more down. That way we can get both skidders and going back at it again.
After it rains, do a video on it. Go out there, let it rain, check the rain gauge, then go to a spot with its unexposed soil where all them shingles are. Move it, and I bet you money down an inch. It's going to be dry soil. You're going to be climbing the hills, drop in, drive in, winch in. You're going to be good.
Now, isn't that something that I bet you went to BMP classes too, right?
Oh, yeah.
So Dwayne, he needs something.
Yep.
Dude, he puts it out there where you can understand it too.
Yep.
And I tell you what, I've done logging my whole life. Like behind the scenes, I've crossed creeks, man, with no bridges, you know what I mean, back in the day. And you really did not notice how much stuff you're tearing up until people like Dwayne go, hey, man, come over and look at this. And you get to see it. And it's really neat how it actually works. And the way we put the stuff back when we're done, like making drains and.
Yeah.
keep erosion down when we're done. I know you do the same thing too.
Oh yeah, we like to have, if it's not flowing clear on the downhill side and then that silt is in the creek, that dirty water is then it's not oxygenated. It's not going to help the animals and then all the wildlife and then everything that lives within that creek. So it's got to be clean water.
Yep.
And then people on down, every time it rains, and I mean, don't get me down the farmer rabbit hole, but they got giant skid trails, at like 4,000 acres that everything's washing off, and ours are like 12 feet wide.
Right.
But, yeah. Anyway, they don't like it. So if you're logging up the creek and there's a bit of muddy water going by, we definitely don't do that.
Right.
There's 1,000 ways. I mean, we have done everything from corduroy bridges to actually lengthening, if you're going and you've got to skid a creek that's 30 feet wide and you put your bridges in and then you just start your bridges to the point to where when they skid over them with the logs, they're just bouncing down them.
Right.
So that's a pretty simple way to do it. Or
that's
if you've got a grapple machine, you can corduroy it with pallet logs.
Yep.
We have a video of that where they actually went at an angle so that the creek could cross over, corduroyed probably 60 foot at an angle with just pallet logs, real gentle ingress and egress on the banks. Looked great. Landowner was happy. Downhill side flowed clear the whole time.
That's perfect.
Really, really sensitive banks. I would probably get a machine across, dozer or skidder, skid them to the other side, just get a big old pile, pull one into the creek. And then once you do that, he can just pull up to that side and just walk the rigging across, hook up 2 or 3 and winch them across. And that's like super muddy bottom. We don't know what we're going to do. It's over the tires. And we got that one machine because they got to let you get something over there somehow. We've even went down to the road, drove around, knocked on neighbor's door. Hey, buddy, here's the deal. Can we come across to you? Got the machine over there. Cool. He was nice about it. There's like 54 walnuts and a couple junk sycamores, some soft maple. We're like, yeah, cool. Skid them up along the bank. You just drag one in there. Like, well, I'm not doing all that work. That work's a whole lot easier than having muddy creek. Yeah, and then tearing it up. So you're not fighting nothing. The skidder's backed up. He has to wear cork boots with spikes because he's going to be slipping on the wet logs. Right. But you just walk down there, set the chokers, and when they skid them up on the other side, they just kind of push them over the bank a little bit. It's not as involved as it sounds. It's pretty darn easy, really. And those 54 trees plus a handful of mixed, you're going to have 70 trees out with 2 machines gathering them from this side.
Yep.
By day's end, nobody's mad. 4-foot banks. You know what banks I mean?
Oh, I know what banks you're talking about.
There's no bottom in that creek.
Nope.
You can try to bridge it. You can try to put logs in those. When there's no bottom, they ain't going to sit there.
There's no bottom.
They ain't going to sit there. Bridges or not.
Especially if you've got 48,000 pound machines running across it. Where's it go?
You're right. And now, there's guys with some super sweet, super heavy, super beautiful 40-foot long bridges that work awesome.
Yep.
And they do work good. But we're talking about economical do me now, don't have to get them in. And those are also heavy. And
they are very heavy.
And there's a lot of guys that don't have access to those.
And that's also another thing you have to move to the job too. So that's another haul bill and everything. You got to haul them away. Oh yeah.
No, you're exactly right. I worked with an old timer years ago, and he used to give me little bits of advice. First off was, don't make long drags to the landing, he said. He's an old guy, smoking cigarettes, he's a cool logger, but
probably drinking whiskey.
Yeah, I enjoyed his company and I listened to everything he said. He said, and he was one of the guys that had older equipment, had it all through his life, was still struggling, giving me advice. And I'm young and I'm eager. And he said, make 4 or 5 piles, because when you're going out loaded, that's a lot on your transmission. So just make, if it's like a 2 or 3 mile drag in a big state job or something, just make a few piles. You got to rehook them, but you'll have a tranny at the end. Then if you replace a hose and it's a big hose, he said, just go ahead and leave the hose a little loose so it just drips, or you're going to be spending all your days replacing a bunch more hoses. Yep. And the other thing he said was he was always too poor to own bridges, so he used pallet logs for bridges. So at the end, instead of paying to haul off a load of bridges, you got a load of logs you're gathering out of the creek.
There you go.
So.
Hey y'all, TKP here from God, Guns, and Sawdust. If you're battling logs and back pain like I do, Log Ox is a game changer. I've known the Roberts family for years, and they're 100% American-made tool, like the 3-in-1 Forestry multi-tool that lifts, rolls, and elevates logs with up to 93% less strain, help you work smarter from harvest to hearth. Click the link in the show notes, gear up for the first order, and use code GGS10 for $10 off. Now offering free worldwide shipping. Log ox, built tough in the USA for real work. And that is a big Indiana boom baby.
Different little bits of advice, economical, you know. You get a little dozer or something, you can pop up the butts. Everybody's like, well, you got to dig them out. They're not that bad. I've been muddy.
The other thing I've never forgot that you had to talk with me about was when you started out, you had the old Timberjacks.
Yeah.
And you had the old John Deeres, and then figured out that you were working on them more than you were working.
Yeah. That's what my wife said. You should have one headache in this industry, and it should be the weather.
And that's what you ended up making it, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's just the weather. I mean, there's other headaches, but they're not to the degree of what they are. A lot of guys are stressing out when it's either frozen or dry. They're going to be working on machines, it seemed like. And, you know, if you've got a 70s model machine, you can expect about a load a day off that machine. If you push it anymore, you're going to be working on it and you're going to be going backwards. 80 models. And there's always the, you know, well, that's a super machine and he's pulling 4 loads a day. Cool. I'm talking about just all the people that I touch and the exposure and everybody that I know. As a general rule, if you got a 70s machine, just get you a load a day and it'll last. And you're going to be good. Cool it off, check it, grease it, check the oil, make it last.
That's the thing. You can't. A lot of people think, "Oh, I just go buy a skidder and I just go logging." They see somebody cutting trees, they're like, "Oh yeah, I could do that all day. I can own my own business.
I can handle it."
Man, you get out there and you got to be a logger, you got to be a skidder operator, you got to know how to file a saw, you got to know where to take the saw when it breaks down, you got to know how to fix a skidder when it breaks down. Because if not, it could cost you $12,000. You have to have 30 in the bank. If you are running junk skidders, you got to have at least 30 grand in the bank when it breaks down. So you're better off to start out with some good equipment.
I mean, mediocre, you know, like the D model, I would say. And I mean, I'll probably get death threats for it, but I mean, you could probably not give me a Timberjack.
Right.
I'm telling you. I am telling you, buddy.
Hard to find parts now, too.
Man, I lived and I worked with them, and they're decent, and people can pull out logs. I've had every single make and model. I'm the most conscientious. Let it cool down at the end of the day. Let it idle. Let's grease it of an evening in the wintertime so that everything's warm. You know what I mean? Let's
baby in it. I know exactly
put the tarp over
mean.
it with the salamander and let it get warm. And they're going to break. You're still going to be there, you know. Then, and some of them are all-time four-wheel drive, so it's real rough on that carrier bearing. And you're pulling it, and then when you're making turns, the ruts are 4 foot deep, and you're like, "Gosh darn!"
Can't unlock them. Yep.
Dude, that first John Deere 640D, I was like,
nuts,
"Wow, where's Jesus? I'm in heaven."
Yeah,
I promise you. I didn't know what happened. That big old giant winch, it like. You free spool, it pulled out.
Yeah.
You put logs on and they come to you. And you go, the only thing, you know, there's little learning curves. You turn down a steep hill if the diff lock's not on. You roll real fast to the bottom. Right. Because those opposite tires are locked in. So you turn real sharp with the blade up and that rear end pops up a little bit. You're rolling real fast. So there's little things. But by and large, that payment was $320 a month. Go buy a John Deere 640D. Make yourself a paycheck.
Right.
Go home to your wife and don't stress.
Right.
That's what you do.
Or a 540 G3, right?
Yeah, 540 G3. They're pretty high priced now. They're hard to get.
You got 2 of them. Am I not mistaken?
Yes, and they're
yeah. Hey, look at here. There's what he's talking about right there.
Yeah, those are great. I mean, people like them. I mean, you can back down. You're gonna release your cable. I mean, they're kind of tough. The winches are super tough. The machines last a long time. You can get them economical. You can buy a machine for 30 grand. The note on that thing's going to be relatively easy to get. People's going to make a living. You're going to make some money on it.
Oh, yeah.
You can rebuild that transmission pretty cheap. And the D model, I wouldn't go straight 640, but the D model right there, my wife actually in college came out all prissy and beautiful and tan and skidded a bunch of logs off a hillside with her. Yeah. Well, the good thing about that is, there's a superb e-brake. A lot of machines do they not have issues with those?
Right, they do have. Yep,
that machine right there has a great e-brake. So it's just real easy. It's just you just pull it, lock it in, and they're pretty easy to work on. Parts are readily available. They got the little bit heavier duty. Timberjacks are cool and everything, but I always thought that they were just a little bit undersized. Everybody brags about getting parts at Napa, which is cool, but maybe I just set my sights higher and I just wanted more.
Right.
So. I mean,
and
you're
going
to
see that for sure. I really could, because you take a 1,200-foot tree with a 240 jack, dude. You got a skid behind you, dude.
You're gonna fight it, yes.
Right.
And you're gonna pull with that machine right there. You're gonna pull 2,000 footers. Just jack them up. I'm a over the roller guy.
Yep.
Put your chokers to the end of the log. jack them up until your knot goes over the roller, which is I just always did it. I felt it held better and you could get just less of that log on the ground and pull them out, and you can watch your temperature and just let it idle of an evening. And that machine, it never gave us any real breakdowns. We had here and there issues, but nothing major. No, I think you brought up a good point a moment ago and wanted to kind of talk about is the logger being the liver of it. I just got done telling a gentleman about that. They certainly, name something the logger isn't going to cleanse. I mean, the road commissioner, the logger has to shovel the road off.
Yep.
The forester, we have to make sure that those trees are coming out right. The sawmill, they better be the right length. The trucking company, you better have a big pile or they're not. Even if our trucks, we have contractors, if there's not a pile, they're irritated.
Yep.
The landowners that are on all sides, better make sure they're happy. And then anybody else that comes and goes, if you're on a state job, you got hikers. The logger, I told him, is the liver. They have to make sure the trees are coming off the butt, off the stump with a clean butt, and they're nice and good, and they're not breaking no wood. And then the first stop's the landing, second stop's the sawmill. Well, you better make sure them links are good. Well, then if the trucks are leaving, they ain't dragging gravel or mud on the road. You got to make sure that's good. And then you got to make sure the creeks are good and clean and there's nothing. So the logger has always been the liver. Just keep going and just keep pushing. There's not really anything that the logger, everybody else on all of them do have difficult parts of the industry, but I would say, obviously, it all starts with the logger doing a good job and being conscientious. Am I wrong?
You're exactly right, Thomas. You couldn't have said it any better, man. We are the liver.
The liver.
We're the liver to the operation.
The liver to the operation. We have to keep everyone happy. Think about it. If the road gets mud, something is minuscule.
Oh, man.
You don't want your wife's beautiful car in it. I understand it. So we're out there with yellow vest on and shovels. I give you some more advice. Use steel shovels. Don't use scoop shovels. Those aluminum ones stink, man. Just get you some good long-handled steel shovels. Vest, truck with the hazards, beacon on top going, and just shovel it off real quick.
Yep.
Does a good job. You don't want your wife's car in it. I don't want mine in it. You got mud on the road. Right your wrong and shovel it.
That's right.
And it's just from there on down. Then the links, you get in a hurry, man. We have to hand mark. We're getting we got 8 loads on Saturday. So we're trying to get 8 or 10 loads a day for the company. And every log's hand marked. Every single log's hand marked.
8 to 10 loads. Did you hear the 8 to 10 loads in one day? Now, the average timber cutter here, and I can vouch for this, which Indiana is really hard anyway to find anybody to cut timber because half of them's on drugs or something else. One tongue's hanging over here, but they won't show up but one day and they cut. But, man, I'm telling you what, it should be everybody on your crew should cut a load. There should be a load for every man on your crew if you're going to make any money.
No,
right?
that's right. That's right. It's correct.
So Thomas just said he cut 10 trees or 103 trees Saturday. Am I not mistaken?
That's right.
Hand cut.
Yep.
So he did the work. No, I know this is going to sound crazy. It probably wasn't even small timber, was it?
I mean, it was average white oak. It was easy cut and they were all leaning. So it was all of them were cradle cut. There was very few with hinges anyway, or even directional. None of the white oaks are going to have a hinge per se, but it's just cut in, cut the front. They're all going to find a way, but you can kind of manipulate where they're going to fall.
Yep.
So they were just gravy, and just white oak cuts good if you don't get any moss.
Oh, yeah.
And then we did, we had a good file on our chains, keeping that nice edge.
File on your chains. How do you file your saw, Thomas?
Backwards, so it's it just
Did
seems
you hear
to
that,
last.
y'all? Backwards. Now, Thomas, hey. When I seen Thomas filing his saw, I walked over and said, "Hey, dude, hey, buddy, what are you doing?" He goes, "I'm filing my saw. What are you doing?" I was like, "I've never seen nobody file that way." He goes, "Well, whenever you sharpen your knife, do you put it to the outside or do you put it to the inside?" I was like, "That makes a point." He goes, "Don't say anything till I get done, and then you can see what I'm talking about." He grabbed my chainsaw, put it on the back, got in there, man. He went to filing on it. And I used that chain for a day and a half before I ever even had to have it sharpened. I'd never seen nothing like it. I said, "Thomas, what in the world did you do?" He goes, "Dude, I've been doing this forever." And his best friend Dave, same way. And I've never.
It's kind of like the same concept as when you're going to square file, you come from the outside,
Yep.
Then you're going to come in and down. So you're getting a bit of a downward angle. But, I think that obviously when a chain cuts, it has to cut in unison.
It does.
So you could have every tooth any way you want. And there's a lot of really, really, really good over the top filers that do a grand job. But for me, that's what I said. For me, it's survival. I've got lots of babies to feed and hunting trips to pay for. So I want to do the best I can. So what I found that makes me the best production that I can cut for the longest, and I mean cut, I don't mean fight it.
You mean cut. Now let me ask you,
like,
do you push on your saw, Thomas?
No, did my saw goes in and it's not jumping.
Right.
My saw goes in by itself. Smooth.
Like butter.
When it goes into the tree, you can feel it. It's to the point where if that tree's shaky or if there's old fire damage or if there's an issue, your saw should cut and you should know it to where you feel it.
Yep.
You know a third of the way in that's going to be a shaky tree, not just because water comes out, but because it goes easier. And you're like, wow, so we're going to get through that, or it's going to just gum up a little bit because then the water mixes with the sawdust. Mm-hmm. So you're like, oh, wow. Well, then it's going to go in. Oh, well, then it went in. It's got a bit of dote. So you're like, wow. So you don't even have to look at the sawdust. You're like, it cut. I know that there was probably a fire in here because there's a soft spot. So without even doing it, and you're doing it every single day for years and years and years, you're like, yeah, you're just standing there talking like, yeah, these trees are cutting. You've only cut 2. It's like, well, we got those ones bored out, but there's going to be some fire about 6 inches. You and I've had that down in New Albany. Burnt. Same thing. Like we're standing there talking like, yeah, well, we know it. So you could bore into a tree, not even get it. Just bore your saw in. Alan comes over. We have a talk. You know, just from one swipe into the tree, you're like, yeah, there was a fire in here. Well, Greenbrier's number one indicator.
Greenbrier's is number one.
And then when you go in and you feel that dote, you're like, wow, yeah, it's on the top side where the leaves piled up.
Yep.
That's where the fire is, and you're going to start and you're boring the tree out. So your saw should cut to a degree that you can find that all the time. You shouldn't be fighting it.
Nope.
So what I found with the outside filing in, I can push as that drive links wear and your bar wears, there's going to be a wobble.
Yep.
When you're on the outside, it's really hard for me to push that chain against that and file. So if you do it, your chain's wobbling.
Right.
So if I clean all the resin off, not just go dragging dead ash log around to cut it to where my chain's dry, but if you file a dry chain with a good file and you're not filing oil and you're not filing junk, you're just filing a good dry chain and you push against that anywhere, unless it's a brand new chain and bar, there's going to be a little wobble.
Sure.
Push against that wobble. Then you can do the one-handed file. You get a bit of a down angle. I just found that top plate and that outside point is super, super uniformed.
Right.
Is a really good way. So you get that down angle. So I'm filing with my right hand, pushing against it, filing downward. Then you're going to push the tooth outward. So you're not pulling towards yourself. Obviously push it out, file down. And then you can file down, and I pay attention to everything. So when you're going down, then you can watch that as that burr comes in and then the shiny part leaves. You want that shiny part has to be gone.
Right. It has to be.
If that shiny part's not gone, don't even take it out there. You're wasting your time. Get the shiny part gone.
Has to be gone.
It's got to be a straight collar.
Yep.
Shiny part gone. Cool.
Right.
So you go. And there's should be a little bit, some bit of a line on your teeth. Well, I kind of like that. And I know some people like that 10 degree for this or that. If I'm going to cut a hard maple patch and straight hickory, I might file a little different versus straight white oak and poplar and walnut. But generally,
it's what you do almost every time.
Every single time. Yeah. And then once you file it in, there should be just a little hook toward the bottom of the gullet. And then I'll just pull my file out. You can drag your file back. It does absolutely nothing to the file, but I just, take it out, drag it off, tap it on the end, file back, pull it back, file back, pull it back. And once you do it, you'll see that shiny part disappear.
Yep.
You'll see that nice, and you'll just feel it getting sharper.
Will.
Yeah.
You know. You've done it so long,
you know it's getting sharper, and you can look, and then you got that little hook in the bottom of your tooth.
Yep.
Knock that sucker out of there. So it's good. Now, if you get like 1364's file and you get to where you're really getting, I see a lot of guys that start filing over the top of the power head, and they get that 1364's file. Buddy, they can get into some problems with some hard maple or hickory, especially with the orange and white saws.
I've never changed my file. I always use a 7/32 on a 3/8 chain.
Yep.
And well, don't you do that for a while? Then you change to the smaller one? No, that's going to screw my whole tooth up, man.
I mean, I've ran out of files, run into Rural King. They've got steel products. Steel ranks at 13/64. You can make it work.
You don't like steel, Thomas? He's a Husqvarna guy too.
Never heard of her. They're all right. I mean, they're all right if you want.
They're all right if you have
you want to fight it.
Yeah.
You don't want to you don't want to cut many trees. They're fine.
Yeah. Or you got a man bun, right?
I'm serious. Yeah. No, they're. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're okay. I've got one somewhere.
I do too. It's in the bottom of Lake Monroe.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, I've got one. I'll tell you what swapped me off of them when they were busting those cranks.
Yep.
You know, I had these cranks breaking 2 soles in a row, and I'm talking, I was poor, man, living in logging camps, living my best life.
Yeah.
Walking out at the end of a tree, cut this top of this cottonwood or something. Well, when it falls straight, if you cut the bottom first and then you cut the top, that top's going to fall.
Right.
And you won't have, you know, much shake on you. So reach down, whoop, cut the top, and that tree falls. Well, even if you move over a little bit, which you should, so the tree passes.
Exactly.
Well, I was over, but probably not enough. And it snagged my chain as it fell straight down. And then my chain fell slack. So I'm like, what the heck, man? So I just sit there and I take it all apart and I'm looking and like sprockets just hanging there. I'm like, what the heck?
It.
Broke my crank, man, just from where the tree, you cut the bottom and you cut the top. And as that top fell straight down, it fell fast. It just grabbed the chain just quick and just pulled it real tight.
Oh, 66?
Yeah, same thing. So bought another one, maybe like 2 months later. Well, my backup saw, and these people up north, they were angels. They were super cool. I was young. They were like, yeah, they sold me a saw on payments in a shop, and I got it paid off. It was just my backup saw was a $395. Buddy, I'll tell you what, that second 660 or maybe even a 650. Remember those?
Yep.
That it was one of the two. I'll tell you that second one busted, and I went and got my backup saw, which was a new $395. I hadn't had it. I just needed a backup, so I just had it, and I was like, yeah, started using it. That saw broke at like 2:00, and I had cut until the end of the day, and my quota was double what I went up there, just because we were in a bunch of cottonwood, a bunch of slower stuff, and I mean those saws are just. I was just
$395.
going, yeah, just going. And, you know, it's got that external clutch on that $395, so it keeps the motor a bit cooler.
Yeah.
So you're going to have longevity. And I take care of them, but probably not takes care of them. And they just go. I mean, I'm not in the market to buy
I know
saws.
that one you had for like a year and a half. Man, I've had this thing for a year and a half. I said, I don't even think I've ever blown it out.
I mean, no. I mean, I'll take the air filter off and wash them with gas. I mean, or
knock
they
them
say,
off,
and
put them back in
clean them back off. And I know my wife does a good job. She'll actually wash their filters. You're supposed to wash them with soap and replace them.
Yep.
So she'll actually set them out with my lunch bucket, which helps a lot.
Well, that's awful nice of her,
yeah,
man.
well, I mean, she likes to eat. She needs them diapers for all those kids she has. So those saws help. Yeah, so you put that on there, and really that's only maintenance. Every once in a while, take the grease gun and put it on the clutch bearing, you know.
Well, hey, we want to talk about something else too here. We got about 12 minutes. You got to fill us in. Thomas is one of the biggest hunters that I know. He goes out west. Oregon?
Oregon, Colorado. Kansas, Iowa. We go all over the place.
And here in Indiana too.
Indiana. We've hunted all over a lot of different places. Yeah.
Does logging affect deer hunting?
I mean, it does. I mean, not in a negative way.
No,
it doesn't impact it in a negative way. I mean, for the neighboring landowners, so there was a big tract of timber we're working, and those gentlemen came over and they were like, "Can you please wait until we get our deer? Because as soon as you get them treetops in there and you start opening it up, and they're curious.
Yeah,
I mean, you're not going to see deer. So if you got the big, it doesn't. If you want deer, get you some, they call them hinge cut, but I don't know why they call trees hinge cut when you just cut on the back and let them go.
Yep.
That's, a giant deer tract in, and they're going to go in. You can get super, super scientific with it. But a lot of people like to cut it. So the brushier it is, naturally is going to.
The brushier it is, the more it brings the deer.
Oh my goodness.
Because they have places to hide.
The mamas can have babies in there and then they can browse, and they're not grazers, they're browsers. So they're going to go through, and then just like at work today, there was a big old nasty buck, and he was in this little teeny tiny encapsulated pocket by all corn on all four sides, only it was brushy. It was all just cut over. It was just treetops. And we had came around it and the wind was blowing to him, and there he just came right out of it. So
big boy, huh?
Yeah.
Good thing you had your gun in the truck, right?
Yeah. I'm not much of a gun hunter. We will use guns for pheasants and things, but
you're a bow hunter, aren't you?
Yeah, the archery stuff.
Archery.
Yep.
Your daughter's into it big time?
All my kids are, but yeah, my oldest daughter, she really likes it. She's killed her a turkey the last 3 years with her bow and arrow. So.
And how old is she, Tom?
12. So
12.
The last 3 years in a row, she's killed one with her bow and arrow. So that's exciting. And the whole family likes to do the archery. But back to the logging impact in the hunting, I would say that it's it helps the animals, which in turn helps the hunters.
Yeah.
From everything. If you've got an owl sitting on a tree, and the owl's food generally runs under the leaves. Well, if you come through with a clean skid road, and I know this because I've walked out and found like owl pellets now on the side of a nice dirt road. And I'm like, now they're hunting them because as those little rodents are running under the leaves, now it's open.
Right.
So it's good all the way around. But the deer, I mean, if you walk out, you've seen deer tracks on a brand new fresh trail. Just, you can go in, the skidder will go out. When you're walking out for lunch, you're like, dang, man, the deer just came through here.
But many times that's happened. Or in the mornings when we get there, we get ready to go back there and do our thing. How many deer do we chase up when we go back?
All the time. And it helps. So yeah, they're curious.
They
little
are
creatures. Yeah, it's certainly, you get those big open stands and they feel like when I go out west and hunt, I'm going to hunt things that are, you know, brushy or cut over. I mean, you can hunt those big corridor woods. And that's certainly all they are. If you're going to get them from point A to point B is going to be cut over timber or a logging side.
Right.
I have videos on my phone, hunting the logging sides in Oregon. They call them sides because of the mountains. Mm-hmm. So then you get a side. So they're going to set up a yard and you're going to log a side because it's a crop essentially. They logged them. Now they're yarder logging them, or they're going to, you know, heli log them, or however they're going to get them. Some of the shallower slopes are going to use wheel machines on, or cat still. But anyway, the animals like them. It's going to green up quicker, and they got that reaper out there, and all those animals are going to just thrive in it, man. I mean, if you just think about it in logical, you've got all these giant trees and Doug fir and all these good, that's out west. And even in Indiana, you get these. The deer aren't usually walking through even a white oak woods when they're chasing acorns. They might stop and eat the few acorns, but generally they're just on through them. You get it where it's real brushy, and that's, I mean, they feel good. You're inside your house. You're not standing out in the open, you know?
Right.
So yeah, if you want it doesn't affect it at all. I mean, you can go in there and you can do a hanging hunt and kill a deer in a logged woods with 2 days of just looking around.
Sure.
Yeah. It's relatively easy at that point. I'd say that it enhances the hunting quite a bit, really.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's good to know. You know, there's a lot of people out there. Well, man, them loggers, man, they go in there and they go do the logging. Then we can't hunt there no more. Why don't even make any sense?
No,
does it? I've never heard nothing like that.
Doesn't make a bit of sense. I know. I think that loggers don't get enough recognition for being stewards of the land. I mean, to the point where I'm not even a raccoon fan because they kill turkeys, but I also have a heart. So if we go up in this big poplar's marked and I see this big old fat raccoon laying over a branch, I mean, there's no reason to cut that tree right now. You know, let him wake up and run off. I mean, we've knocked birds out of nest and got them picked back up and stuck them back in there. I mean, this rape and pillage thing, and I get tired of hearing it.
Yeah, because we're nothing like that, man.
No, I mean, I'm taking time, and I mean, absolutely take no tree for granted, embrace every single skid road, put them into where, you know, they can have secondary uses and they can have ATV trails or paintballs, and then the animals then can come back in, and then they can also utilize them. To the guys up north and our brothers in Michigan and Wisconsin put drumming trees in for the grouse.
Yep.
And then you can put in what they call strut zones in Indiana. So you'll cut a little area out of a super dense woods so that the male turkeys then can flaunt their feathers and attract hens. And we do the same thing. So if there's tall weeds and the mama deer have babies at that time, we always go through, and I mean always go through and make sure that there's not female turkeys with nests in there. Find one spot. And once you find that spot, we're going to walk through it, and then we're going to cross there, because I guarantee you, and again, I have videos on my phone, those little babies are going to be held down in there. The moms will get up and run. Those babies get scared and hold out.
Yep.
You know, it doesn't take a lot, but I do think that there's this misconception, and it's span, and there's a lot of individuals on the political side of things that I enjoy. I like to stump for loggers, and I like to talk about it, and the good that we do. It's absolutely absurd when they're going to stand for, like, out in the pouring down rain for some frog that doesn't exist, right, when that's not even our MO.
Right.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Totally.
It's the same thing. And those are the same people that go downtown and advocate for a woman's rights at a Planned Parenthood. Don't get me started there. But they're going to stand in a rainstorm for a frog.
It don't make any sense.
No,
does
and then
it?
they want to talk about eliminating an unborn baby. It doesn't make sense. And then I'm the individual that's cutting down trees that cares deeply about the land, the ground, the oil. We don't leave anything. We don't leave garbage. We take care of it. When we're done, it's going to grow up. A lot of stands of timber have been cut over and over and over because the soil types and things can't. It's just
because of the pride that we take in our work. Because if we don't have the pride in our work, then the timber never does come back.
No, and you have to be a craftsman. So not to say there's not, but there's also not people that take pride in stocking shelves.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have to be prideful in everything you do. So if you're going to take pride, so by and large, if the land wasn't there and God gave us this renewable resource and it's going to continue to come back, it's going to continue to grow, and it's going to continue to thrive. There's certain things that I don't appreciate seeing, and you and I also agree on, is when people like high grade the wood. So if you're going to only leave sycamore and you're only going to leave soft maple, you're only going to leave pin oak, and you're going to leave some nasty shingle oak, obviously that woods is going to have big trees.
Right.
Well, those are also the people that are going to go there, and the neighbors that know nothing about it, that has a cut over woods that had a bunch of hickory, that hickory are suppressed and they grow super slow. And those trees are a hickory that's 12 inches at breast height can be as big as a 20-inch white oak. All the hickory are cut. Well, they're griping. Well, the neighbor destroyed their woods. No, actually you destroyed your woods by leaving all the big junk.
Yep.
His woods is going to come back. He's going to have a nice stand in there. And oaks, they love destruction. They like to have it burnt. They like to have it torn. You're going to have all those oaks, and then you're going to have it, and then you're actually going to have to beat the deer off. So they're not eating them. So you're going to have wildlife.
All the acorns.
Oak. Yeah. It's great. So I think people need to educate themselves and not be closed-minded. And I'm certainly not closed-minded in anything. I enjoy conversation. I enjoy listening to people. I just want to listen to people that actually make sense. You know,
common sense.
Common sense. Let common sense win.
Amen to that.
And let's think about it. And amen to all of it, and not take anything for granted, and not the trees. And for every move you make, let's think about that's going to affect the next 15 moves. Whether it be cutting trees on a hillside for your skidder, or what that tree's going to affect. If that tree's got a mark and you're going to cut that tree, generally speaking, if the forester's got a tree mark to hit, that's because, you know, once you knock that tree's top out, now it becomes a wildlife house.
Yep.
You know, so let's just think about the whole deal before you start complaining and then going off and telling people what they are. And I mean, at that point, you don't have a clue what they are.
Exactly.
You know, so and especially us, and I know you for a fact, and all of us take a great deal of pride in it, and a great deal of pride in creating it a nice cleaned up tree and a nice butt, and following them through a hole, getting them skidded out. If you fell a tree in a poplar sideways and you buck it at 33 feet, makes 2 16s, pulls out cleanly, you're not skinning up the residual stand. I, for one,
we do that many times. Oh yeah, cut them in half.
Takes immense amount of pride in that.
Sure
when
does.
You're back in that woods and it just looks great.
A lot of people are like, yeah, man, but you made 2 out of 1, man. So what? Look how good the woods look. And landowners excited. Everybody's happy.
Yeah, or, you know, you fall that tree and it's got a fork on it. 99% of the time, that crotch is left in the woods. I would go up there and cut that crotch out. And our machines have 3 chokers, or the grapple machine doesn't. They can gather those, leave that crotch right in the woods. So now you're pulling up a wad of trees. You're not pulling up a big wide fork, beating the crud, just tipping and falling. Every little thing affects it. And that's just the logging side of it. But if guys go in there and you just walk it and take care and you make clean water, and you're not gonna exist in this industry if you go through it. And there's a lot of people that come and go because they don't have the attitude of, you know, the landowner and the wildlife and the people, and then the adjoining landowners, even if they don't agree, or even the wildlife don't agree at that time, you still have to be, mindful of them, and you still have to. So I think that's just a giant misconception people have with loggers. It's not true.
Amen to that. Well, Thomas, man, we're running out of time. Hey, I appreciate you coming on the podcast, talking about what you love to do, just like I do.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey, y'all, that is a big Indiana boom, baby.
Stories never end.
God, Guns, and Sawdust is a production by TKP Media, LLC.